It's one where you could probably take a pretty good stand against.
Yeah.
Wouldn't lead them off your tickets, but you could probably get far more value with others.
Maybe, yeah, come back with them on a couple saber tickets kind of thing, and just in case you nail everything else, but maybe he is the monster horse that some think he is.
He's getting the disrespect that I'll have another did,
Yeah.
but you're not getting the odds, and I think that's the big difference.
That's right. That's right. And I think, you know, well, he could be, you know, very close to Orb as a favorite, obviously. You know, and, so all right, so we'll move on. Number 15, Charming Kitten, 20-1. You know, I gotta say another morning line question: 20-1, a Charming Kitten.
No
Does
way.
anybody want to take that?
No, and it won't be.
Yeah.
So we're going to be safe there.
60-1.
Yeah, this is one of those again, kind of a make music for me. Was that the name of the horse that came in fourth?
Right.
It has that feel and look, you know, very consistent sort. As you look at the BRIS ratings, the speed ratings, always in the 90s, almost without fail. Did kind of have that big jump from the Palm Beach to the Bluegrass again, you know, broke that 10+ point criteria. So that's a big knock. But, you know, that late pace, 104, 97, 99, another one where they just let him run.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't mind the off track, could surprise. There are two horses in what we call the absolute shocker 40-1 plusers, bottom of supers. It's this one and Golden Soul we talked about earlier. So I wouldn't lead him off. I wouldn't put him on a lot of tickets, but I wouldn't lead him off the fourth hole in a super.
All right. And that would certainly pay well. You could do that.
Indeed.
All right, so that brings us to the favorite, Orb, number 16 at 7-2.
Or my personal favorite horse for a long time, especially coming out of the Fountain of Youth. I thought that was one of the better races run in terms of, even though he had to close, he was still running close enough that all the horses that were running in that race were running faster than they normally would. And he only had an 89 late pace number, but again, that was so almost the opposite of the Wood, where everybody had 100 plus. Nobody had anything higher than an 89 in that race, and he just, you know, literally dominated on a track, again, surface that doesn't favor his type of off-the-pace running style.
Well, you know, that's what really impressed me about him. Is, you know, you watched the Gulfstream meet this year, you had to be near the lead. You really just couldn't come from out of it. And here's a horse that, you know, probably wants to close, and they kept him close enough, and he won on tracks that didn't really favor his running style, and you got to, you know, hand your hat to him for that.
Yeah, and I think he has that. I like Joel Rosario coming up here because he has been nothing but lights out and seems to be dominating here with a ton of confidence in Churchill Downs. That doesn't hurt at all. And if you watch the horse's replays, the other thing you like about this is the ability to really accelerate. I mean, when he comes out of those turns, you can, especially when the camera gets close, you can just watch him. It's almost like he's enjoying dusting the competition. So he's got grit, he's got determination. He's not the highest on numbers, but I think his work got a lot of heart, and I think Shug has trained this one well. Gradual increases, and he just has to move up, you know, another notch here, and he could be a winner.
Yeah, he always does that. And I will say, you know, one of the things about Orb, you know, that's been talked about on the backside is that this horse is a bit of a nutcase. He's never been around a crowd in the Derby type. If there's one horse, or that their connections are, I think, really concerned about that, I think this is the horse. So, you know, I don't know what you do with that, but, you know, if you're watching the telecast and he's going crazy in the paddock, that might be something to think about.
Yeah.
They're concerned that he may run his race in the paddock.
But don't be worried if he comes up looking a little hot, because that's typical for this horse. That's not unusual. He's done that in both of his races here.
Great to know. And, all right, so number 17, we move on to Will Take Charge, 20-1.
You know, it's always hard to question a trainer who's obviously done extremely well in the Triple Crown races. This one had a very aggressive campaign, very Lucas style, October to March. Horse has been on a long hiatus. Lots of swings in the numbers. Hasn't raced in a long time. You know, surprised and shocked, I think, in the Rebel Stakes a bit. But Super Screener says it just misses so many that you just can't put him anywhere on your ticket.
Yeah, it seems like he's just kind of in and out. So if they're nursing something along here, they've got a long layoff, but the numbers aren't, you know, too bad on him.
No. Would it be a shock if he hit the board? No, but I think there's so many others that share similar numbers and just have, I guess, what I call more conditioning to this point.
Right. All right, so now we get into the Kenny McPeak runners. Number 18, Frack Daddy, 50 to 1.
Well, you're getting touted a lot the last couple of weeks because working out, real well on a surface where he's obviously demonstrated some affinity in the past. So, he certainly likes the track, but he liked the track, and he had the numbers that are similar to what he's recently run. So it's not as if he was, again, lights out in those maiden and allowance type races. He's had some problems. You could excuse maybe the Florida Derby and his prep before that, but you can't excuse too many races. And here's another one where I think is coming into this one a little too fast without the real solid conditioning.
Yeah, I think they're trying to make up for lost time with this one. And,
yeah, he's a hurry up, and that doesn't usually win the Derby or even make an impact.
And so that brings us to the other Kenny McPeak horse, number 19, Java's War, 15 to 1.
Another one of those greats, as the super screeners always said, man, when those horses pair, those 100s and the LPs and stage, these are great bottom of the triad super horses. Because again, they're just passing a lot of, their odds of just making the top 7 is strong because they just have that late pace kick. He looked visually very impressive in that Bluegrass Stakes, but you got to wonder how much that took out of him. A horse that's very small, and for a while they're going back and forth with Frack Daddy as to who was really training better. And they've been very gentle with this horse, and I think there's reason for that. The super screener says, again, you got to play him on the bottom of tickets, but definitely not a strong candidate on the top half.
Maybe like another, like you said, make music for me, Dennis Accord, kind of running at the end kind of thing.
Yep, exactly. It seems a little fragile for a deep closer, so it may struggle. And again, dirt may not be his best surface.
Okay, and so then rounding out the field, we've got number 20, Vijak, 15 to 1.
Vijak, screener really likes it because of its race shapes, the fact that in the Gotham and the Wood Memorial, again all in New York, but has done nothing wrong. Second or third to Vijak and Normandy Invasion, a good prep, and then was looking all the best in the Gotham Stakes. So, but the problem is, again, a horse who gets a respiratory issue and has to get on antibiotics coming out of that race. This is not the race where you want to have any hiccups, and that's why Baffert pulled all his horses out. They all had hiccups, right? Mm-hmm. And in this case, he's even been erratic in some of the training at this point, and when we bring Donald up here, we'll hopefully verify that. But he's one where that 20 hole also doesn't help, but as a closer, probably doesn't kill him that much. Maybe a little bit on the bottom of your tickets, but I wouldn't go nuts on it. It's
a tough one, right? And you just talked about the pairing the big late pace numbers like Java's War, and Vijak does that as well, and so. He's got some stamina. I think he surprised a lot of people in the Gotham when he came off the pace and just zoomed by them all.
If he's healthy, I think he deserves to be up there. In fact, the super screener has him 6th, so he can't be ignored. But the super screener doesn't take the temperature of the horse, so we don't really know exactly how healthy this horse is.
That's definitely a concern, definitely. Okay, and then we want to spend a lot of time on the also eligible Fear the Kitten, 50 to 1. Any comments there?
No, if that horse for whatever reason gets in due to other scratches or as the days progress here, there's nothing to be concerned with here. It's also a toss. But I do like it better than Giant Finish or Falling Sky.
All right. Well, okay. So just to kind of put it all together, we talked a little bit about your wagering recommendations, and those are, of course, are available with the Super Screener. Anything you want to kind of share in general about the theme of the recommended wagers and how to crack this nut that is the Derby?
It's kind of boiling down to this, which is the Super Screener loves Normandy Invasion and Orb for all of their achievements and meeting all the criteria and doing it solidly. No excuses, training well, off track doesn't hurt. So they look like if you had to just pick 2 horses that you would rotate up and down your exotics and wheel your other favorites on the horses you like, these were the 2 horses I would recommend keying in on. The challenge with Golden Sense, not that he doesn't deserve to be here in the top 3, is that because of his running style, if the track for whatever reason is coming up sticky and it's really counterproductive to all closers or all front runners, he's going to be compromised by that. And again, we don't know what Golden Sense we're going to see. Like Golden Sense, who was able to sit off the leader in the San Antonio Derby, or fold when challenged in his race prior.
You know, everybody here in Louisville knows that Rick Pitino, this is his year. Everything's going his way. So you just never know. But yeah, agreed. And then what else about? So you would work around those two, work around Norman and Evasion as Orb is you know, assuming they get a decent trip as horses that can really be there.
Exactly.
And who are the others that you would kind of focus on?
I like them on the top, and then if you're looking at who do I kind of populate on the bottom and keep the bottom of the ticket narrow, like the trifecta or superfecta, I think you could do very well to take the best closers with those strongest LPs, and it's Normandy Invasion, it's Java's War, and Vijay. Those three had the most outstanding numbers. You know one of those three horses is going to be somewhere at the bottom of that ticket.
And what about Gold?
Oh, I'm sorry, Gold Soul.
I thought you meant Golden Soul.
Those four, probably more so than Vijay. So,
and Charming Kitten's probably more just, it does have potential to close
potential,
late.
yeah, but these seem a notch above certainly Charming Kitten.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, every race they're coming. You know, Java's War, Golden Soul, and Vijay are coming at the end, so that's interesting. And yeah, I think, you know, when we talk about, you know, building tickets, and I thought you did an incredible job of building the tickets and rotating them, especially if you play a couple of the tickets together, you know, in case the speed hangs on for the second hole or the third hole. And, you know, that's a difficult part of wagering, and I think you did a really good job with the tickets. And, you know, I think people sometimes don't realize is when you look at a race like this, the favorites could run 1-2, and so Norman Invasion, or let's say the two that you like, could run 1-2, and like you said, Java's War or Golden Soul runs up for third. You're talking about $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 trifecta.
Easily, yeah.
That is, you know, we're sitting here talking about of all the possibilities, we're naming that one, so it can't really be, you know, that far-fetched.
Right.
And so I think sometimes that's the point when you leverage those tickets, you can really create some positive outcomes and some awesome scores.
Well, look at last year, two chalkish type horses in the top four and two long shots, and the superfecta was $2 superfecta was $96,000. So
amazing.
There's a lot of, again, value on the Kentucky Derby race for sure.
Mike, thanks. That was awesome. And I think what we're going to do now is we're going to have Clocker Donald Harris from Southern California, who's been watching the Derby horses all week, come up here and talk a little bit about who's been catching his eye and go from there.
Outstanding, Mark.
All right.
Thanks.
Thanks, Mike.